Hey fellow video enthusiasts, I'm glad that you are here. Hope you're all doing well. If you have seen one or two of my previous videos, you know that I love documenting my trips and adventures. And one thing I often like doing to give some geographical context is use an animated map, something like this, which I used for the video of our honeymoon to Fiji. And in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways of how you can achieve this effect in Final Cut Pro 10. And for the end, I'm going to show you one additional super easy alternative that you can apply no matter how much you already know or no matter which video editing software you're actually using. So make sure you stick around till the end. If you are new here, my name is Michael, I'm an enthusiastic hobby videographer, and my goal on this channel is to help you create great videos to relive exciting moments and share with others. But now, I don't want to waste your time, let's go straight into Final Cut Pro and start going through the 3 different ways of how you can create an animated map. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for a PNG file of a plane that we can use to overlay on top of the map. I always get those PNGs from a website called Flat Icon. I will link the website in the description below. Download it, and then we just drag and drop it into the Final Cut Pro timeline. So now you see it's actually black, and we're just gonna change the color to white because in that way you're gonna see it better if you use a rather darker map in the background later on. And how you do that, that's very simple. You just go into the color correction tools, which is on the top right, and then pull the exposure all the way up, and suddenly the plane is white. So the first way of doing it is using a plugin from Pixel Film Studios, which is called Maps 1.1. It costs around $30 US, so it's not too expensive, and it's super easy and flexible to create such an animated map. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to the title section where the plugin is located. We click onto the plugin, Maps 1.1, and then we choose the first one, Maps, and put it into the timeline. Before we start fiddling around with the settings, we adjust the length, then we can go into the settings and define the parameters. I'm gonna type in the starting location and the end location. I'm gonna choose the map style that I want to use, adjust the zoom level, then Mapify, and it will create the map for you. So let's look at this. Well, okay, we have a black line now. This is something we still need to adjust. So we go down to the path stylation. So we want to have it in white. So now it's a straight line, but we need to adjust it that we have this 3D feeling, which is why we're going to adjust the rotation. Then we're going to adjust some details of the path. And now we need to put in the plane. So we're going to path image, click on that. We select the plane we adjusted before, apply clip, and there we have it. And so now we only need to adjust the plane itself. All the settings to do that are under the path image controls. All right, so I'm quite happy with how it looks. And now we only put a sound effect towards it and it's done. So that was the first way of how you can do this animated map. And the second one, where you don't need any plugin, for this one we are going to start at Google Earth and screen record it. So we type in our starting location, and that's our starting point for the screen recording. So what we are going to do now first is we open QuickTime Player, go to File, New Screen Recording, choose the section which we want to screen record, and then we type our destination. Once I press enter, there is coming a pop-up with the information which you can click away and then just let it run. Save this one to the desktop and import the video file into Final Cut Pro. Then we cut it to the right length, drop in to get rid of all the unnecessary information. Once that's done, we're gonna put the plane on top of our map. And then obviously we need to adjust the size, which we can do with the transform tool. Then we go frame by frame towards the part where the Earth starts spinning, and that's where your plane is going to start. Once we're happy with the starting position, we're gonna set a keyframe to position, rotation, and scale. Then we go frame by frame to the part where the zoom out is at its highest. And there we're going to set an additional keyframe, but only for scale. And then again we go frame by frame to the part where it starts zooming in again. And set another keyframe for scale. And then we go all the way to the end where the Earth stops spinning, and that's where the end frame of our plane should be. So, and on the end frame we set again a keyframe for all scale, position and rotation. And now we do some final adjustments. So for the last keyframes we set the plane how we want it to look in the end. Then we jump back to the latest scale keyframe and make the plane a little bit bigger. Then we skip again to the next keyframe of scale and make it the same size as the other one. So to smoothen the in and out a little bit, we are going to adjust the opacity of the plane by selecting the plane, pressing Ctrl V, and then here you'll have the opacity adjustment. So we're gonna fade it in and fade it out. And now only the sound effect left, and then we're done. And then the last way of doing something like this is by starting to go into Google Maps and getting a screenshot so that both locations are in it. I'm gonna switch it to satellite. We try to get as much as we can into the screenshot because we can always crop in later on. Once we have the frame we like, we make a screenshot. The second step is to go into a program like PowerPoint and draw a simple line. Save the line as picture. There you see it's gonna be a PNG. Then I'm going to put both the screenshot of Google Maps as well as the path into the timeline. Same principle as for the plane. I want to have the line white and not black, which is why I'm going into exposure correction, put the master all the way up. Then we have to adjust the curve so that it connects Singapore with Fiji, in my case. And we're gonna do that with the transform tool. Once I'm happy with the path, I'm going to put a transition effect, a wipe transition, onto the flight path. So we only need the wipe in, so we're gonna delete the transition out and make this one the whole length of the clip. Select those two clips and put it as a compound clip. So now we skim towards where the flight path starts and we're gonna cut it there. We do the same to where the flight path ends. Now we need to put the plane on top of it and link it to the path, which again, as in the last way as well, requires some keyframing. Once we're happy with the starting position, we set a keyframe for scale, rotation and position. Then we go to the last frame where we want the plane to disappear and cut it accordingly. So we go to the last frame. Again, we set the keyframes for position, rotation and scale and make all the adjustments. So now if we play that back, you see the plane is not yet linked to the path, which is why we need to set additional keyframes in the middle of the curve. So once we're there, we set an additional keyframe for position only, not for the rest. Make sure it is aligned to the path again. We check the middle keyframe as well and make sure it's smooth. There we can adjust its smoothness a little bit so that it is according to the flight path itself. Now we're going again to adjust the opacity in and opacity out of the plane and add the sound effects. So we're not quite there yet. We still need to crop in. So we'll make the whole thing as a compound clip again. We start at the first frame, go to crop, add a keyframe, which is in this case on the top left. Then we go to the end of the clip, add another keyframe and crop in to the final destination. Now we have a simple map that looks pretty good as well. And if you think all this keyframing and adjusting and fiddling around is too complicated for me, then as mentioned at the beginning, I have another alternative which is super easy to do and looks quite cool as well. For this one, you only go into Google Earth again, You zoom all the way out, start a screen recording, and you type in the final destination. And again, click away the unnecessary information and let it run. Here you only need to save your screen recording, put it into the timeline, cut the beginning and the ends, crop in, and that's it. Easier than you might have thought. I hope you got something out of it and you know now exactly how you can create such an animated map effect for your own travel videos. If you do, please give this video a like, hit the subscribe if you want to learn more, and if you don't want to miss next week's video, which is gonna be about basic camera setting that any videographer should know. And until then, as always, thank you very much for watching, stay safe and healthy, enjoy your weekend and the week ahead. Bye bye.